most famous physical therapist on the internet.
All right. Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together, we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
So, do you have bad sciatica? You must address these three issues first. 1, 2, 3.
That's
you got to
right,
take them
Bob.
on.
That's right.
If you're new to our channel, by the way, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, go to bobandbrad.com, go to the giveaway section. Always giving something away. We're on a one-day hiatus.
That's right.
But I'm going to give you a little clue. Tomorrow, we're starting to give away a mattress.
Ooh, our big one.
A Sleep Ovation mattress. Okay, let's go to Facebook. It'll be pinned to the top of the page, the contest. Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok if you want a 60-second version of our program. And Brad, what else do we have now?
Oh, the podcast.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with the podcast.
That's right.
That's right. So, Bob, this whole thing about sciatica came up, this video, is because a good friend of mine, his son, he's a fine, strapping 6'6" young man like yourself, tall. He's got sciatica, and I'm trying to help him out over the phone because there's distance between us, and you know how that is.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
It's
So,
tough to
his name is Rory. Nice to see you, Rory.
Hi, Rory.
We came up with some exercises, and I could not explain them over the phone. So
Right.
we're going to do some things here, and we're going to address a few other things that is not only pertinent to Rory, but this is common to anybody with sciatica.
That's
So
exactly
it's the
right.
three big things that as therapists, we're going to look at to make sure you get going in the right direction. But before we go into that, I want to talk about sciatica. Pain down the leg, oftentimes to the foot and to the toes. And in this case, that's exactly what he has.
Sure.
But sometimes it's misunderstood. You know, is it from your back? Is it from a herniated disc? Probably majority of the time.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be. And why does it go down the leg? Just so you understand that, so it doesn't get
So
too...
basically, the nerve's getting pinched somehow.
Right.
The question is it in the back or is it somewhere else on the leg?
Exactly. So the nerves come out of the low back. This blue band represents the nerve. Your nerves aren't blue. Don't worry about it. They're, whitish, yellowish, whatever. But this just shows the basic pathway. It comes through here, down the leg, more on the back side of the leg, but they do branch off. And if
Right.
you have symptoms in the front of the thigh versus down at the heel, that just kind of tells us which nerve
Right.
is being pinched. If it's from your sciatica, if it's not from the back and it's from the piriformis, it may be more diffuse because it's getting the nerve higher and getting more of the nerve all at once.
Yeah,
where
that's
they
a little
combine.
muscle that crosses over the sciatic nerve, or sometimes the nerve even pierces the muscle.
Sure.
And if it's tight, it could give you problems. Or if you tore it.
Sure.
So
you can see it goes all the way down and into the toes. So, and that's
So
typical.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to show you things that are going to take pressure off the nerve,
Right.
or at least not make it worse.
Right.
Exactly.
And a very common thing with sciatica that makes leg pain worse is sitting.
Right.
Typically not right away when you sit, but after you sit for time. And in this case, after 30 minutes, he has pain down the leg. And then if you have to go to work and you do more sitting or lifting and bending, you've actually set yourself up to irritate the problem just by sitting in the car. So we need to address seated posture.
Well, one thing, Brad, I'd like to say right at the start here is that you should try to avoid sitting as much as possible. I know you have to sit to be in the car,
Right.
but when you're not in the car, don't be sitting.
Right.
Don't be watching TV. Sitting in a chair.
Right.
Lie on the floor. We'll show
Sure.
you how in a bit. But
And, if you're going to sit in the chair, you need to put some supports, lumbar support. And if you have a soft chair and you're sinking in, like you have a car have old seat that's wore out, and the seat pan, that's where you're sitting on right here, is wore out, you may have to put a cushion in there. And they make pads for this.
Yeah.
And actually, he has one that's been helpful. So we're just using the Pete's
yeah, I
Choice.
used to, when I was up in the cities, Brad, we used to treat bus drivers, and they'd always lean toward the right side to get the fares.
Sure. Yeah.
And the seat was wore out, so they'd be like this.
Ah,
so we had to always put a pad in there.
Something to correct
correct
the
it, yeah.
wore out seat. So you may need this, you may not.
Right.
I'm going to leave that out. Let's say you do have a firm seat pan. if you do not have a lumbar roll, which most people do not have one laying around, you can simply take a towel, roll it up like this, and it can be any size towel. And we got tape around here. You can put rubber bands or tape, and then you're going to put that right about out your belt line, and sometimes usually a little bit lower. But you're the boss on this. You're going to put it there, and the location and the size of the roll is going to be determined on how you respond. In other words, if you put it there and it feels like a big bump, and it's like, it just doesn't feel right.
Not comfortable.
Right.
It's not taking away your symptoms.
It's too big. You need to reorganize the towel. Don't roll it up as much. Put it back in there. And then up and down, you put it where it feels good. From personal experience and from my patients, if you get the right size roll in the right location, it puts a smile on your face. It just feels like, oh, that's good.
Well, generally, as a rule of thumb, if you're a larger person with maybe more ample buttocks, you're going to need a larger roll.
Sure.
If you're a slighter person like I am, and I'd say you too, Brad, you probably don't need as large a roll.
Right. And in this case, where the seats wore out,
right,
you may need a bigger roll just to compensate for that seat.
Good point.
Here's 3 examples. Now, we're a big, we promote McKenzie lumbar rolls, but you don't have to get a McKenzie lumbar roll.
Anything that'll work.
Yep. Here's a round one. They come in different shapes. And the density of them, if you're looking on the internet, you'll see they'll talk about density of the foam. Some are softer, some are more firm. Unfortunately, we can't say this is the one that's going to fit you.
It's really tough.
That's why experimenting with a towel roll gives you a general idea.
Right, a thought anyway, where to start. But, the other thing, Brad, is I would say, I know he sounds like he's got a half-hour drive. I don't know if he could break it up, just get out after 15 minutes and just walk a little bit. I mean, just the continuous sitting is bad.
I got a solution, Bob.
What is that?
Let's say, sir, for example, there happens to be a convenience store about halfway there.
Right.
Get out, get yourself some Joe, some coffee.
Sure.
Or if you don't do that, get a donut, but you shouldn't be eating that. Get a banana. There we go.
Get out, go for a walk.
Seriously, yeah. To
Just
break
run.
that up, that's a great idea, Bob.
The other thing is, Brad, you can actually, and we're going to show you this, but we're trying to convince the disc to go back in.
Right.
It's kind of bulging out, probably herniated out. And so you can actually do a couple press backs like this before you sit in the car and when you get out of the car.
Right.
Because you've been sitting like this, and we want you to take it in the other direction.
Sure.
And we'll show you some more of that later on the mat.
So getting back, this one has a higher density. I can just feel it. It's a little firmer, and it's
really big,
different
too.
shape, and it's bigger. This one's a little thinner. So that you do need to take care of on your own. It's we can't prescribe that, unfortunately.
Just don't be slumped. You want to be in that S shape where you have a curve in the low back.
And then at home, stick to firm chairs that promote good posture versus those nice, soft, cushy recliners.
You don't want to be sitting in and in fact, again, if you can avoid sitting at home, because you're sitting in the car, you can't avoid that. But if you can stand, or my nephew Brad, he's in school, in college. He would actually go to his bed and study like this.
Oh, really?
He would just put the books on there, and he came up on his own.
That helped him then.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Your back's nice and supported and straight.
Now,
and so
the run rule of thumb that always goes with sciatica: if you can get the pain and the symptoms, numbness, tingling out of your leg, you're doing the right thing. Even if the pain gets worse than the low back, getting out of the leg is absolutely pertinent.
Right, because what you might find out is if you sit down in your car and the back pain goes away, but the leg pain gets worse, bad sign.
Yeah.
What you want to see is that the leg pain is better, and like as Brad said, maybe the back pain is even a little worse.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time on seated posture, Bob, but it is critical.
Yes, it is.
Right. If you do your exercises, go sit them properly, it just reverses the whole thing.
Right.
The next thing is bending. If you've got work to do, you're not working at a computer, but you're actually doing physical work.
This is terrible. You're rounding out the back. Yeah. Do you want to give me a booyah stick, Brad?
And even if you're picking up a light object, it can throw things right back.
There shouldn't be any movement occurring in your back. That all stays stationary.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can think about is it's always the wrong hand.
That's fine, Bob. So the stick is going to help maintain or show us that he's keeping a straight, strong back.
So if I was wrong, I bent like this. Now the stick only contacts in one spot.
Right here. No contact here. There's
Yeah.
a big gap. But if he contacts the head between the blades and at the belt line, that guarantees we've got neutral or good, strong back
So
posture.
you really want to spread your legs apart when you lift something. You don't go like this. That's how
Right.
you really get out in that
Yeah.
athletic position.
Yeah. And, just go down like, even if you're picking up a pen. I know Roy said he just picked up something light, but he twisted too with it, it sounded like. So you don't want to twist your back and bend. That's actually adds up to even more stress.
You can even do what Brad did there. Whenever you're going to bend down, if you can grab onto a surface and lower yourself down, it's going to help a lot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in his case, he's lifting some pretty heavy things that aren't conducive to good body mechanics. You got to do
tough.
that's it is
tighten
tough.
up your abdomen when you're doing it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're bending wrong, tighten up the abdomen. It makes a big
Actually,
difference.
I'm gonna see if I can work with him on a back belt.
Oh, sure.
Those
Good
heavy
idea.
lifts, and then finally, you need to find an exercise that is directional. In other words, one exercise, and we're going to show you the most common ones that we find with sciatica people. And this is something where we couldn't.
And again, you're looking for the symptoms to get better in the leg. So
if you've got symptoms down the leg, that's a good time to actually lay down. You're going to do this on the floor, not on a bed like here. We're just doing it for ease of video.
And you could even start, if this is okay, and if you can even get up on your elbows, you could watch TV for a while this way at night. This would be way better than sitting.
Sure.
So, and then eventually what you want to try is put your hands underneath your shoulders, and you're going to do what we call micro press ups. And you're looking for your symptoms to improve.
Right.
You're looking for your leg symptoms to improve. Numbness, tingling,
Yeah,
pain.
so if you've got it in your foot and you do a few of these and you notice that the foot feels good, but it still hurts around to the knee, that's a good sign it's moving upwards, centralizing.
It's moving in the right direction.
Yep.
And that you can go further and further as time allows, but always keep the pelvis on the mat. Don't be going like this.
Yep, no gap in there.
You're not getting any movement in the back that way. This is movement in the back. This is not. So.
And if you do this and you can't get very high because it hurts or makes things down your legs worse, well, then it's either take your time with it, come back to it, or there's a couple modifications. There's a lot of tricks that therapists have, particularly with this system. One of them is doing the banana.
Sure.
So if you do the banana, if let's say pain is on his left leg, he's going to shift his hips away from that or to the right.
The hips go to the right, the feet go to the left, and my shoulders go to the left.
So we call it the banana because if you could look down, which we can't get the camera to do this, but his body is actually curved a little bit, like a banana, and then he's going to try some
micro press ups.
Yep.
You won't be able to press up as high, but you
Exactly.
You can press up and see if that works.
Yep. And you'll find out. I've had people do this where I have them go into the banana position and they say, at first it might hurt a little bit, but then after about 5 or 10 seconds, it's starting to settle down. We do some baby press ups. Oh, the leg's starting to feel a little better. If that's the case, you're right on. If it gets worse or no better after 10 of them, you might go to the next one, which is do the roadkill. I've had people successfully do this if I couldn't get it with the other options. So don't ask why we call this roadkill. I just heard it at a course. That's what the instructor said, so we've been carrying with it. So you bring typically the leg that has the problem or the symptoms, bring it up in this position.
And the same thing.
Yep.
You're doing a press up, but you won't be able to go up very high on this at all.
You won't. That really limits. But if I've had people go into this position and right away they say, oh,
just by getting in the position.
Yep, the leg's starting to feel a little bit better. And not at the instant you put it up there, but usually after a few seconds, 5 or 10 seconds.
Brad, we better talk about the frequency of doing this too.
Oh,
because it's really important that you don't do this just once a day. You do this 6 to 8 times.
Sure. Yep.
So if there's even a way at work that you can get down on the floor, bringing cardboard or something, I don't know what the setting is, but I've had people in factories do it where they threw a piece of cardboard down on the floor and did some, every hour.
And I did talk to Rory about this if his employer would allow it. And he said, well, no, I can't do it because we're doing service calls when we're going. I said, well, when you get out of the vehicle, can you take 5 minutes? Will your employer do that? Find a place to do it? And he said, yes. I said, well, you do it? And he said, you better believe I'll do it if it helps.
Yeah,
So
because
he's got the right attitude.
you're motivated because it's painful. That's where I was talking about this press back, standing press back.
Oh,
You
sure.
know,
The extent.
sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't because you're taking weight on it. Sometimes
Yeah.
people can do it later,
Yeah.
but they initially can't do it. They have to be lying down to do it.
Right.
So I can't tell you for sure that might help, but sometimes it does when you're on the job site. You just reach back and bend back that
Now,
way.
if this is coming and going, you don't just do these exercises when it hurts.
Right.
You need to do them when it's feeling good, the press ups.
Yes.
And then these in standing, so that will minimize or reduce your risk for future flare ups. This is it takes a while for this to really seal up and get good before you go back to, in this case, lifting weights and squatting and those types of things.
Yeah, this is a starting point. Anyway, there's a lot of other things you can try.
Right.
We do have a sciatica program on our website. It's a free program. You just go to the program section on bobandbrad.com and look for the one on sciatica, back pain, under the program section, and we have like 50 videos there on sciatica.
So you just go through the title, look at the title. If there's any particular aspect of treating sciatica this way, they're about 10 minutes long, all in one spot. And then the big benefit is you can hit PDF printout, and it'll print out on you a review and exercises, so you don't have to keep going back and forth the video every time.
You can take it along with you wherever you go.
And the big beauty about this is all these are in one spot with the PDF, and there's absolutely no charge.
It's free.
It's free. We don't even ask for your email. So it's our gift to you, and enjoy, and we hope you get better.
Enjoy.